It is still iBrand Daybreak. World Malaria Day is on 25th of April every year, and it is used to highlight the burden of this disease to the world. Malaria affects millions of people every day and has been around for millennia, but has been hard to eliminate. The theme for this year is World Malaria Day, time to deliver zero malaria, invest, innovate, and implement. It is clear that in order to deliver zero malaria, we will need to employ combinations of strategies, look at the problem from many different angles, and be innovative. This conversation is what we're going to be having this morning, and joining us to talk about it this morning is Dr. Akanni. Good morning and welcome, Doctor.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the call.
All right, World Malaria Day. Malaria has been around for a while, especially for us Nigerians. Is like in the blood. You know, we have to deal with this all the time. What is being done? Do you think we're close to coming to a point where we have, or where we are able to have zero malaria in the country?
Yes, malaria day is an ancient disease that was discovered decades and that's taking life of people on daily basis and is one of the silent killer that penetrates in our environment. And every year, they discover to do World Malaria Day, 25th of April. So please allow me from Africa. This group of 2008, 25th of April, for Africa to take more awareness. You know that we have to fight against malaria because malaria has a very key factors when it comes to health sector. That in every daily basis, everybody comes with infection of malaria in different forms and in the chronic stage and in early stages and the start of we have different complications. We can call malaria, we can call malaria in pregnancy, we can malaria in different distance that result in psychosis or anemia in pregnancy. So that when that 26 is more to create more awareness for people to know that we need to fight it together and our environment has to be taken care of. I need to prevent the spread and habitat of the female people allocated for people that spread the malaria. That is very important to know that malaria is one of the dangerous disease that is affecting all the age. Doesn't matter whether we are young or old, or that's why it's better somebody to know that malaria is something you have to fight together and eradicate completely from Africa.
All right, now let's talk about the significance more on this because we've really seen that when it comes to malaria, especially at this time that the world is celebrating or marking this particular day, Africa tends to be one of the worst hit, and by extension Nigeria. What exactly are the root causes of this particular illness?
Yes, the main process of this particular illness is a type from a female anopheles mosquito. And the mosquito is the carrier of this parasite. If a female anopheles mosquito is based on your skin and pick or pick on the infected person that has this parasite of malaria disease, the mosquito carry it to another location, to another person to infect, or the mosquito has already picked from it, having it and deposited in your bloodstream. The process started developing the liver and spread to the bloodstream. That's why the sign and symptoms of malaria comes in within 3 days. That depends on how immune the individual is. If the immune system is strong, it's possible the immune system is that malaria develops immediately. And through dirty water, cleaner water, bad drainage, bad collecting, it will tuck away in the house, bedroom, kitchen water, environment has to be clean, and use of treated mosquito net. So those are things, and sometimes malaria in pregnancy, mother to child, or resulting to jaundice in infants. Those are the effects. Sometimes malaria causes decreases the high mortality rate. There's complications in pregnancy. There's preterm baby or low weight baby. You know, any woman is having low weight baby as a result of not treated malaria. That's why there is awareness, the standard rule that a pregnant woman has to treat malaria 3 times before delivery. Before 9 months, you have minimum of 3 times you have to take malaria prevention, at least to prevent malaria, not to expose, because if the pregnant woman is exposed to malaria, it affects the fetus, it affects the growth of the baby, it affects the nutrition of that baby from birth, having a kind of, it can be life-threatening or congenital baby as a result of malaria. You know, sometimes there's this norm in Africa that's ordinary malaria, but it's not ordinary malaria because it takes almost 25 million of people yearly. You understand? Yearly in Africa, that's deadly. That's why it needs to be eradicated. As not the word ordinary malaria has to be eradicated through our hygiene process, and the environment has to be clean. And those are things of the effect of malaria. That means the awareness every 25th malaria day is celebrate malaria to create awareness for people and to give back to people that have lost their life through malaria process. That's why we are here today to tell people to create awareness that there's malaria day and that we should be careful how we handle our malaria. And most cases, self-medication has been one of the key factors of how the malaria spread. You know, everybody, anytime with feeling feverish, feeling headache, or discomfort of body shape, everybody goes to nearby and take malaria tablets. We have different anti-malaria drugs everywhere, and that they are resistant to some types of malaria. You have different types of malaria, and it is resistant, your body being a carrier of that malaria, meaning that you are spreading it to another neighborhood. That's why you have to be careful to do our malaria diagnostics properly and to meet an expert to treat malaria properly and manage and prevent it to the occur of having malaria again.
All right, you've really given us an exhaustive explanation as to the causes of malaria, which of course, like you said, you know, could be attributed to poor hygiene or little or no environmental awareness about how to take care of our environment. And of course, looking at the local level, you know, we'll realize that the government, the authorities have done little or nothing to really help the situation. But of course, we've gotten support internationally from donor organizations like the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation. And of course, they've given us for some time support in millions of dollars to be able to curb this issue. Why is it that despite this support from international organizations, yet we are still battling with malaria?
It's because of the environmental influence and ignorance to certain things. When it comes to health management, ignorance is the key factor. People don't take the proper precautions at the right time. People don't take the steps to take. You know, when everybody has become a norm that you have to take self-medication over the cancer drug to treat malaria. Also, when the crisis of severity now occur, or there's a resistance from the drug or allergy or reaction coming from different maladies, that's when you see them rushing. About it or not, not get before. At that time, the stomach has already been established. The damage can be established due to anemia, dehydration, some sort of circulation of inflammation, or loss of submission, or malnutrition, or severity, or cerebral, you understand, this margin headache, or insomnia, very difficult to sleep, or sometimes vomiting, stooling, and the same time, you know, all these things happen, and the side effects. However, that's why it's better we try to take the proper thing. And government will look into it, like the WHO or the support of American thing is that, you know, we don't have follow-up when it comes to anything in this country. The follow-up is the key, and to have the right people at the right time to follow up, and they have a godly mind. Sometimes corruption is the key that affects every aspect of ministry. You understand? That corruption is the major thing. When there is access to something and you don't allow people that believe to have access to it, it's just as if there's nothing to be available. You understand? When you have offered an opportunity and people that the opportunity should be paid for and not having access to it, it's just as if nothing has been happening. That's why the corruption aspect when it comes to free drugs, free consultation, right place for consultation, right equipment, right diagnosis have to be put in place for our people, and right awareness and the right people, the rural area, what are the steps, what are the management the government are taking, and what are ways if we can cover our drainage in our environment, in our community, and drainage is very clear. Not that maybe when erosion comes in, you see drains everywhere, blocking the drainages, all those are ways the mosquito develop and the malaria continue in our society. That's why it's individual, it's a teamwork. We need to fight it together. We need to be prepared to fight it and eradicate malaria completely from Africa.
All right. Let's look at the theme for this year. It says, time to deliver zero malaria, invest, innovate, and implement. There's been a lot of policies in the past, made from the Federal House towards the eradication of malaria. Do you think that these policies have been implemented enough? And also, part of the write-up is that, different strategies need to be put in place to be able to nip this problem in the bud. What other strategies? That is, if you think these policies haven't been implemented enough, maybe because of some of the reasons that you already pointed out to us. But what other strategies would you suggest should be employed towards bringing us closer to a zero malaria environment?
Yes, and some steps government have been put in place over the years. Even there was time that military malaria treatment started in different government in different community history, and time that the free treatment for giving out free communities with malaria, no by. Those things are repeating, but I found the continuity is the major thing. And some things I've mentioned when it comes to corruption and other things, and individual management. Every government management, how do we take our environment, how do we take our ideas, how do we take the vaccine for necessary vaccine for the children and the right when needed and when due. You understand? So the kind of and how do you put our immune system? You need to spend the team. When it comes to breakdown, immune system has to be used and has to be maintained. Governments are trying, but they are trying their employment to do more and do more when it comes to awareness, when it comes to education, when it comes to support. And the medical field too should try to create awareness, to put more effort to educate people around us to know the damage ordinary malaria, ordinary mosquito, the way we call it, can cause, and the combination that arises from just the types of mosquito and the breaking down or breakdowns of the immune system. That is very important for every mother, for every husband to try to prevent malaria. That is why I have to put less on your infants, that is make your environment to be made, eat good food, take enough of fruits, rest, and reduce stress, and let's do the proper medical investigation when due and when necessary.
All right. Stemming up from that question, in the past we've seen free distribution of treated mosquito nets. We've seen people get free treatments once in a while. We've seen a lot of things, put in place just to help curb malaria. But then why do you think that we still have this problem? I know I've thrown this question at you, but this is 2023. There's been a lot of growth in the industry worldwide, Do you think we're, rigmaroling in the same sport, or we are making progress? How would you rate our progress from what we've had in the past to the present day?
Yeah, yes, we are making progress. There's a problem because that we need to do more. The most important thing is that drainages, dustbin management, our waste products, how do we make use of our waste products, how do we dispose our waste products? People are still engaging in dropping their waste products on drainages, on the road, on the fence, neighborhoods, you understand? Drainages and waste products are the key factors that increases the mosquito, and also the environment. When you are having signal worker everywhere, is not taken care of. That's one of the key factors. I can't probably if that drainages and our waste product can be well managed or put into another thing, at least I can boost that, we can eradicate malaria completely in Africa. But if that cannot put in place, it's just that you have to be there of managing ourselves, trying to treat malaria, trying to prevent malaria, as a step. But if those drainages is well and our skin is very taken care of our day, I think our people will be free completely from malaria.
All right, doctor, when you say we're making progress, I really want you to explain to me how much progress we tend to be making when, as at 2022, Nigeria ranks one of the highest when it comes to malaria-related death, to the tune of 31.3%. And of course, Democratic of Congo had about 12.6%. So having this kind of high rates in malaria death globally, how much of improvement do you think we're making, if really there is?
Yes. Firstly is awareness. At least for the awareness, before there's nothing like people knowing what is mosquito, what is malaria is all about, and what are the complications arising in malaria. But when it comes to awareness, when it comes to everybody knows what the importance of mosquito net, what is the purpose of the usage of mosquito net has been there. Use of malaria, you can name, someone can name more than 50 malaria available everywhere. All these are awareness that is a killer disease. And the rules of putting free malaria drug in every government center, or even from the pregnant mothers, and those awareness are in there. And the progress is not just awareness, even those intensive and all those things that when it comes to malaria, but we need to do more. Because the population of Nigeria is getting every day by day. The people comes from different countries coming, and our population is getting more. And the most important thing is management of environment and just key factors our environment. How tidy are we? How hygienic are we? The hygienic is the most important thing that how we can keep government can come in, how we can manage ourselves when it comes to hygiene. Just after that, we can start eating like when it comes to malaria or STD in Africa. So if our environment is not conducive for us, what are we now saying about it? You understand? Once everywhere is dirty, people see this jobs of being everywhere, that this is different polluted environment. You understand? Polluted environment, no cost regulation, even some companies from everywhere, those are things we need to put in place. Those are things government needs to put in place. From there, you can eradicate completely. There is a progress, is a teamwork, and is a process. That we are there already, and like now, the time is not even aware that the malaria day is coming. Now, in 2008, the awareness has been there every year, so let people know what malaria is all about and how can we eradicate it. And that's what we are doing today. We try to put our best in every home, every parent to eradicate malaria in their environment.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Akanni Abiola. Thank you for coming on the show this morning. It's been very, eye-opening having this conversation about malaria with you. Thank you. All right, it is still iBrand Daybreak. I'm hoping that the individual, because it's, the average man on the streets that get affected the most by malaria. I'm hoping that, people will take a cue from this conversation that we had this morning and keep your environment clean, clean out your drainages. And if you have it, then always sleep under your treated mosquito nets. This is how to keep malaria away from you. It is still iBrand Daybreak. Josh mentioned earlier that the death profile of Nigeria keeps rising, from what we have with China to what we have with the World Bank in Washington, D.C. to different deaths, different places, and it keeps increasing to the tune of trillions and trillions of naira. We will be having this conversation with an expert, a financial expert, when we come back from this quick break. Stay with us.
Malaria is a major threat to human health worldwide and a leading cause of illness and death in many developing countries, especially in young children. Pregnant women are also more vulnerable to the disease. Almost half the world's population, 3.3 billion people, are at risk of malaria, according to the world's latest malaria report released in 2022. Malaria is spread when an infected Anopheles mosquito bites a person. The mosquito becomes infected by biting an infected person and drawing blood that contains the parasite. The symptoms of malaria are caused due to the rupture of the red blood cells, and these symptoms include headache, fever, fatigue, pain, dry cough, sweating, spleen enlargement, and vomiting. The devastating human and economic costs of malaria are estimated to be at least $12 billion annually, thanks to the massive scale-up of malaria prevention and treatment intervention from global partners. Almost 7 million lives have been saved globally. Malaria is threatening our world. We all need to act now. Time to deliver zero malaria. Invest, innovate, implement, and end malaria.